What is going on, you guys? Thank you so much for being here. I've got a great tutorial for you today. I've actually been wanting to film this one for a while now, and now that the weather has finally cooled off here in Atlanta, this feels like the perfect time to do it. So today I'm going to be showing you how to paint a denim jacket. And as a bonus tip, the techniques that we're going to be using in this video, you can also use on other types of fabric. The reason that I learned how to do this is because several years ago I was hired by a small business to hand paint their logo on the back of a bunch of hoodies. So it does work well on cotton and that type of fabric as well. What I learned when I had that project was you don't need to buy a whole set of specialty fabric paints in order to paint on fabric. If you're an artist and you have acrylic paint, you likely know that acrylic paint is permanent. You probably found this out when you've accidentally got it on your clothing before. All you need to do, I've got this one secret ingredient that I'm going to recommend, and I'm going to link this in my description below. This is Liquitex Fabric Medium. We're going to be mixing this with the acrylic paints that we already have today, and not only is that going to save you money from not having to buy a whole new set of paint, it's also going to open up your color palette so that you can use all of the colors that you already have. Basically, what it's going to do is add just a little bit of stretch to the paint so that it won't crack or look dusty when you wash it. And at this point, I do have this denim jacket I'm going to show you that I painted several years ago, and it still looks like new, even though it's obviously been through the wash several times. So I'm happy with the results I've gotten, and hopefully you will be too. So let's go ahead and jump in and paint a jacket together. Alright, you guys, so here is the jacket that I'm going to be painting on today. And as you can see, I drew very lightly a little design on here using a Sharpie marker of what I'm going to be painting today. In the past, I've laid out my designs with chalk, the reason being that chalk wipes out a little bit easier if you want to change your mind. And of course, later in the washing machine, it's going to come out completely. So either is fine. You know, I used Sharpie for the sake of the video and making it a little easier to keep up with what I'm doing today. But you do want to have some type of a composition and design laid out first before you begin painting, because again, once you put the paint on the material, it's permanent. Before you begin, I recommend stretching your jacket or hoodie out on some type of a firm surface to keep it flat. I'm using a drawing board. Now I'm going to show you how I use the fabric medium with my acrylic paints. You're going to be using a ratio of about 1:1, 1 part paint to 1 part medium, and just stir it up really nice and good until it's completely mixed. I was surprised to find that the paint keeps its opacity really well, even with the fabric medium mixed completely in with it. And I probably did pour out too much paint here, but you can kind of really get the idea of what this process looks like and what your paint is going to look like once it's all mixed up. Next, I misted my paint with just a little bit of water, and when you begin, you can begin just as you would on any other surface using your paint. So I have my first layer of paint complete, and as you may have noticed, it looks a little dark. That's because when you're working on material, it's not primed like a canvas, for instance, and it is going to soak up a lot of that initial paint. It's definitely going to take at least 2 or 3 coats of paint before you can kind of see your finished results showing through. So I did kind of a simple design, as you can tell, but of course feel free to go as complex or, you know, or as simple or whatever, however your creativity may take you. I'm going to let it dry for about 10 more minutes, and then we'll jump in and give it another coat of paint and see how that comes out. All right, you guys, it's been about an hour and my jacket is now dry. I have to tell you, adding Save the Bees at the top was a totally last minute idea, but once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. I love the bees and wildlife in general, so it had to happen. Here's how it turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if this video was helpful. I hope I inspired you to paint some of your own clothing, and thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one.